What causes skin aging? In general, from a medical science perspective, what's going on?
Skin aging is basically a degeneration of the skin tissue, and it's caused by two processes.
I was just blown away by the science and the technology, what you've been building, and I started using it. It is one of the few products I've used consistently, twice a day for 4 years.
OS1 has this ability of decreasing up to 40% the load of senescent cells.
That's amazing. What is your skincare protocol?
Yeah, luckily it's very simple. So
everybody, Peter Diamandis here, and welcome to Moonshots. Today I have a guest who I think about twice a day because I use her product twice a day, every day. It's Dr. Carolina Ruiz Oliveira. She's a co-founder and CEO of OneSkin. She has a background in stem cell biology, tissue engineering, immunology, and she founded OneSkin with 4 incredible women, all PhDs in this area, to combat age-related disease, in particular of the largest organ in our body, our skin. And I love the product. I use it twice a day. Full disclosure, I am an advisor to the company, and because I love it so much, super proud that OneSkin is a sponsor of this podcast. We'll link to OneSkin and the details down below. But let's jump into a topic that I've had a lot of energy, people saying, your skin looks amazing. What are you doing? So let's talk about how I'm reversing the age of my skin. Carolina, great to have you.
thank you so much, Peter. So great to be here. Thanks for your support since we launched our product in 2020. So yeah, excited to be back.
Yeah, no, it was, I met you on one of our longevity platinum trips up in the Bay Area, and I was just blown away by the science and the technology, what you've been building. And I started using it, and I kid you not, it is one of the few products I've used consistently, twice a day for 4 years. I remember when I was interviewing Larry Page at Google when he first joined the X Prize board back years ago. He said his objective with Google was to create a product that people used at least twice a day, like they use their toothbrush. And if they got to that, that would be super successful. So I know you've gotten to that, and I've turned God knows how many people on to OneSkin. Why? Because I actually love the product. So where are you today? You up in the Bay Area?
Yeah, I'm in the Bay Area.
Fantastic.
Still continue with the research here. We have an office and a lab in San Francisco.
How big is your team at this point?
We are about 30 people. Yeah.
Amazing. And are your PhD co-founding women still with you on the journey?
Yeah, Alessandra is my main co-founder that leads the science. But yeah, Mariana and Juliana, they were very important partners throughout this journey as well. We all complement our expertise in some ways. I come from the stem cell biology, tissue engineering. Alessandra did her PhD in skin regeneration. Mariana, bioinformatics, and Juliana, she's an expert also in stem cell biology. So.
An amazing team. I mean, really blown away. People don't realize skin is the largest organ in your body. Obviously, you know that. And skincare is a massive industry. I should have looked up the number beforehand. Do you know how big it is as an industry?
It's over 200 billion. And then when you focus more on anti-aging, it's around 80 billion. And it's supposed to grow to, I believe, 150 on 2032. So it's definitely growing in a fast pace.
Yeah. When I think about, what do I want when I'm, 120 or older? I want to think clearly. I want to have great mobility. I want to have great immunity. And I want to look good, right? So it's cognition, aesthetics, mobility. Those are the fundamental things. When you look yourself in the mirror every day, you want to say, I'm doing okay. And you feel good about that. So let's jump into the first general question here, which is what causes skin aging, and what is skin aging? What in general, from a medical science perspective, what's going on?
Yeah. So skin aging is basically a degeneration of the skin tissue, and it's caused by two processes. One is the internal aging, that's the natural aging process. Our cells are, constantly dividing, and they're accumulating mutations, and there is this buildup of, inflammation in our body. The other process is the extrinsic aging. That's basically all the environmental stressors that we are exposed on a daily basis. So primarily UV exposure, but also pollution, obviously smoking, and other types of radiation. Both of these processes, they cause damage in our cells and or directly in our DNA or proteins. They increase the production of free radicals, and this all contributes to the accumulation of these old cells that we call the senescent cells or zombie cells. And the main problem of these old cells or senescent cells is that they start secreting inflammation. Mm-hmm. And the inflammation that they secrete basically leads to collagen breakdown, leads to a dysregulation in melanin synthesis, and this consequently leads to sagging, wrinkles, dark spots. So if we were going to simplify, we can say that senescent cells accumulation is one of the main drivers of skin aging. There are several ways that we can lead to, cellular senescence. And the interesting part is that when we are young, our body is able to recognize those senescent cells and clear them out of the way. Mm-hmm. So our immune system is supposed to do this well, but as we grow older and we accumulate more and more of those senescent cells, the inflammation becomes to a point that it overwhelms our immune system. Our immune system gets deficient, and they accumulate, and that's when it leads to those dysfunctions that in the skin we see as signs of aging, and obviously is also associated with skin cancer. But in other tissues in our body, the accumulation of those cells is associated with several age-related diseases. So it could be heart diseases, brain diseases. Yeah. So this is considered one of the main hallmarks of aging because it's not, it happens, throughout our bodies. And then that's why we are very interested in how we can decrease the amount of those zombie cells in our skin.
Yeah, the way I learned it, let me bounce this off you for feedback, is, for human cells at least, we typically have something called the Hayflick limit, which is the number of times a cell can divide. And I think that is like 50 cell divisions, thereabouts, the Hayflick limit. Mm-hmm. And at the end of 50 cell divisions, cells should have the decency to die. You've done your job, you've divided, okay, now go away. But two other outcomes can occur. One, they can go immortal and become cancers, mm-hmm. Which is not a good thing. Or the second thing, like you said, they can become senile cells, also known as zombie cells, grouchy old man cells. And as those cells are sitting there and not dying, they're sort of like in this again, zombie state, and they're just pumping out inflammatory molecules that are recruiting other cells around them and causing this inflammation. And I think it's your innate, your natural killer cells, your innate immune system that's supposed to find those. I know Dr. Bob Hariri, who's mm-hmm. the CEO of Cellularity, and we've been talking about the idea of supplementing your NK cell population to help you with senescence and cancer and so forth. But I think the point you made is as we get older, there's a concept called immunoexhaustion, where your immune system is just getting exhausted. It's fighting against all these viruses. It's fighting against, all the increasing senescent cells, and it can't catch up. So then you need to do something else. So, all right. So let's talk about. Let's dive into it. You developed a compound to find and zap senescent cells. So when you're doing your doctoral work and you're laying down the foundation for OneSkin and the OS1 product, did you set out to focus on senescent cells, or talk to me about that?
Yeah, no, actually, we started, well, back in Brazil, we were doing something else. We were growing human tissues derived from stem cells to replace animal testing.
Mm.
Very different when that first endeavor didn't work out, but we got the opportunity to move to the US and focus primarily on skin. And at that point, we decided to use our expertise to grow human skins in the lab and test any anti-aging product that were already in the market to measure if they could actually promote any age reversal effect. So because we are able to measure the age of the skin by reading the epigenetic signature, we could determine if a skin is like 50 years old. We can test a given product and we can measure how many years that product would reduce, hopefully reduce the age of the skin. What we found really fast is that most products that are there claiming to be anti-aging, uh, most of them cannot decrease the age of the skin. Some can accelerate the age of the skin. And none of them were actually targeting what we believed to be one of the primary causes of aging. So we saw that the industry that's claiming to be anti-aging is completely outdated. They haven't evolved in their approach. And we because we were studying so much about aging and we were seeing a lot going on in the, cell reprogramming, cellular senescence, and different strategy to target the fundamental, mechanisms that are driving aging, we realized there was a better way to actually address this problem, to target aging at the source. So at that point, we decided to shift from being like a testing company to actually a company that would search for new molecules, more specifically peptides. We were interested in peptides because it's already commonly used in cosmetics. And for those who don't know, peptide is basically the building blocks of a protein, right? If you think in that way, it's like a small sequence of amino acids. And for example, insulin is a peptide, and peptides can have this effect of entering the cell and act as a messenger. So they can activate certain pathways or suppress others. And we were looking for peptides that could selectively, switch off senescent cells or decrease the burden of senescent cells. So we spent the first 5 years of OneSkin just doing the research in order to find this peptide. We
I mean,
partnered with
using the platform you had created for testing everybody else, right?
yeah, exactly. First, we developed this platform that one, we can replicate the skin aging in the lab. So we can replicate a very young skin to a very old skin. So we understand exactly what is changing in that process. And we can measure the age of the skin. The second is that we used these cells derived from progeria donors. So progeria is a rare and genetic disorder that children age really fast and they accumulate senescent cells really fast. So we use cells derived from those donors to screen peptides. So we tested over 900 peptides, but initially we partnered with this university in Brazil. They were studying antimicrobial peptides and they had a library of 200 peptides. We decided to test them against these progeria cells. And in that first round of screening, we found 4 hits, so basically 4 peptides that performed the better. And then we used an algorithm that helped us to do permutations, so changing the sequence of the amino acids in a way that we could optimize the efficiency. And we generated another 700 peptides out of those 4. And we test again against, the same progeria cells. That's when we found OS1, and OS1 has this ability of decreasing up to 40% the load of senescent cells.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So we talked about peptides, and again, just to remind folks, an amino acid is a basic building block, and your DNA codes for basically proteins which are made up of a sequence of amino acids, and those proteins can be, hundreds or thousands, tens of thousands of amino acids long, and they're assembled in your ribosomes. But the signaling peptides are rather small, right? They're short sequence amino acids. So what size amino acids, what size peptides, how many amino acids were the range of them that you were testing?
Yeah, the range was between 10 and 14 because also to be able to penetrate the skin, there is a limit in the molecular weight. So OS1 is 10 amino acids. So it's a little bit over 1,000 Daltons. So, and because of the polarity and the conformation of the peptide, we can guarantee the penetration of the peptide, throughout the stratum corneum, the skin barrier. But obviously, if you get to a bigger peptide, it becomes more challenging. You need to use a sophisticated delivery system. So luckily, OS1, it's a size that we can apply topically, and we can detect the penetration up to the dermal layer. That's the layer that contains the fibroblasts that produce collagen, gives like the firmness and the structure of the skin.
So that's great. So 10 amino acids. And I am curious, I never asked you this question. Were you able to patent that amino acid sequence as a anti-aging product?
Yeah, so we definitely, we have a patent on there is a motif that we believe that it's important for this function, and there are variations around this motif that we can patent. So we have a patent mainly focused on skin and senescence, but we even have been exploring for other applications as well as like metabolic disorders and inflammation, because one of the main ways that the peptide works is like decrease inflammation. So when we treat those progeria cells with the peptide, we see that there is an overall decrease in the secretion that the senescent cells are producing in terms of the inflammation, and that really helps in many other conditions.
Yeah, so let me ask you a question. So I use, I use the OS1 product. I said that on my skin, but I also have a OS1 body lotion and an eye lotion, and then a sort of sun screen and so forth. When I'm using OS1 and I do my face in the morning and at night before I go to sleep, and then I'm putting the OS1 body lotion on my arms and my legs. Is it my imagination that it's going beyond just my skin? Is it giving me an overall senescent protection for other organs in my body?
We can't. Actually, we have measured already the blood of individuals that have been using the product for many, many years, and we couldn't detect the peptide in the blood, which is good because obviously this could have other implications, good or bad, that as a cosmetic company, as a skincare company, we shouldn't be there. But what we see is that by protecting your skin and strengthening your skin, indirectly you are decreasing the inflammation of your body, because your skin is your largest organ, and as it ages, accumulates damage and accumulates senescent cells. And as the skin barrier weakens, there is an increase already in the inflammation that comes from our skin. And even low levels of inflammation coming from our skin can compromise our internal levels of inflammation. So that's one of the interesting studies that we did was actually with the body lotion, that we recruited elderly people from 60 to 85 years old. These are people that already have a very fragile skin, and we collect blood at the baseline, and they use the body lotion and the face for 3 months, and then we collect blood again. And we saw a decrease in some inflammatory cytokines just by treating the skin topically. So that's a very interesting concept that most people are not aware that obviously your skin is impacting our body internally, but in a very important way. So a lot of those inflammatory cytokines, they are related to chronic diseases. So if it's elevated in your blood, you are more susceptible to develop such diseases. So that's a very interesting point that the product helps.
Everybody, I want to take a short break from our episode to talk about a company that's very important to me and could actually save your life or the life of someone that you love. The company is called Fountain Life. And it's a company I started years ago with Tony Robbins and a group of very talented physicians. You know, most of us don't actually know what's going on inside our body. We're all optimists. Until that day when you have a pain in your side, you go to the physician in the emergency room and they say, listen, I'm sorry to tell you this, but you have this stage 3 or 4 going on. And you know, it didn't start that morning. It probably was a problem that's been going on for some time. But because we never look, we don't find out. So what we built at Fountain Life was the world's most advanced diagnostic centers. We have 4 across the US today, and we're building 20 around the world. These centers give you a full body MRI, a brain vasculature, an AI-enabled coronary CT looking for soft plaque, a DEXA scan, a GRAIL blood cancer test, a full executive blood workup. It's the most advanced workup you'll ever receive. 150 gigabytes of data that then go to our AIs and our physicians to find any disease at the very beginning when it's solvable. You're going to find out eventually. You might as well find out when you can take action. Fountain Life also has an entire side of therapeutics. We look around the world for the most advanced therapeutics that can add 10, 20 healthy years to your life. And we provide them to you at our centers. So if this is of interest to you, please go and check it out. Go to fountainlife.com/Peter. When Tony and I wrote our New York Times bestseller, Life Force, we had 30,000 people who reached out to us for Fountain Life memberships. If you go to fountainlife.com/Peter, we'll put you to the top of the list. Really, it's something that is, for me, one of the most important things I offer my entire family, the CEOs of my companies, my friends. It's a chance to really add decades onto our healthy lifespans. Go to fountainlife.com/Peter. It's one of the most important things I can offer to you as one of my listeners. All right, let's go back to our episode. Because you've got a platform for measurement, I mean, so first of all, I think you said 40% reduction in senescent cells in the skin, which is huge. You had to have compared yourself to other skin creams out there. How do you fare against the other? I don't know the field. All I know is I love your product and it works for me. But so what are the other leading products? How do you compare to those? What can you say about that in your testing?
Yeah. Great question. So there are a few things that we learned as we were testing out their products. There are some products that they claim to be anti-aging, but they are full of toxic ingredients that they can actually be causing more damage than good to your skin. So some of them, when we apply on top of the skin in the lab and we look at the histology, like a cross-section of the skin, the cells are completely degenerating. The cells are dying. There is a lot of inflammation. So unfortunately, some products are really causing, more damage to our skin. Other products known to have like vitamin C or other ingredients like glycolic acid, they can be good for your skin. So some can, promote like a light exfoliation, or vitamin C can fight can work as an antioxidant and fight the free radicals, but they are not addressing senescent cells. Similarly, the main product that's used as an anti-aging is retinoic acid or tretinoin or retinols. This is known as a very effective ingredient. It basically induces cell turnover. So the retinoids, they bind to several receptors in our skin and causes this cell renewal. And for most people, you're going to see your skin initially peeling off. So you are growing a newer, fresher skin. A lot of people can't tolerate, a lot of people become more sensitive because while you are renewing your skin, you're basically exposing your skin because the barrier is completely removed. But similar to the other ingredients, it's not decreasing the load of senescent cells. So all of them, they can help in some way, but you would still need a product like ours that is targeting senescent cells. Otherwise, you're treating the symptoms and the driver is still there promoting, pumping that inflammation that it's accelerating aging.
Is there any product you found that is competitive with what you do, or do you feel like you're the number one product out there in terms of senescent cell reduction?
So far as I know, we are the only ones that are completely focused on cellular senescence. There are other companies claiming that they focus on senescence, but I haven't seen any data. So I think because we've been studying this for like the past 8 years, it's very challenging to get to something as we got today. So first, you needed to find an ingredient that is effective, and we have tested like several common, I would say, longevity molecules. So, for example, metformin or rapamycin or NMN, and some of them work for reducing senescent cells. But when it comes to the concentration that you need to deliver to the skin to be effective, to the ability to penetrate the skin and the stability of those molecules over time, different pHs, it's very tricky to check all of those boxes. But there is rapamycin cream out there. You need prescription. We tested rapamycin in our skin, and what we saw is that if there is a tight dose that rapamycin works well. If you increase a little bit, it's already causing a little bit of toxicity. So one needs to be careful when you're using a rapamycin cream, because we know that it can be immunosuppressant. And it can be toxic depending on the concentration.
Is there any limit on one skin cream? I use it twice a day. Is there any value in using it 3 times a day? Or does it still work if it's once a day? Help me understand that.
Yeah, there is, for the face product, we optimize the dose like for twice a day. We haven't tested like 3 times or more a day because it's almost like not people wouldn't be able to do that. Interesting, we have tried to increase the concentration of the peptide for the face cream.
Right.
And it didn't necessarily lead to a better result. For the eye cream, which is a different formulation, and one very interesting data that we have around the skin on the eyes is that if you measure the biological age just under or above your eyes, it's 20 to 30 years older than the skin around your temple or forehead.
Wow.
So because the skin is much thinner, it's moving all the time, accumulate more senescent cells, it's more delicate. It's a different, I'd say, skin composition that requires a different product. So for that product, we used eyelid skins that we got in partnership with like surgeons that we were doing like blepharoplastic surgeries. And we developed that specific formula to increase the collagen and decrease the senescence load around the eye. So for that product, we increased the concentration of OS1 peptide, and we saw an improvement in the results in collagen production and reduction in P16. That's one of the main markers of cellular senescence. So some people, what they do instead of using the face cream, they use the eye in their whole face or their neck, whatever it's there, they're most concerned about. I think if you have a healthy skin, the face should be good for you. Obviously, for areas that you need a little bit more.
And how does the body cream differ from the face cream?
Yeah, the body cream also has different ingredients. So there are ingredients that are more hydrating that you couldn't necessarily use on your face because it could potentially clog some pores. So we have this ingredient like derived from mushrooms that can hold water 400 times more than hyaluronic acid, which is like known as one of the main
Sure.
ingredients that can hydrate the skin. There is sulforaphane that's also known as a longevity molecule. It's present in broccoli, but it has a lot of antioxidants. Some people even use for like treating cancer. And it has a lower concentration of the peptide, again, because your body is not as exposed as your face.
Yeah.
We optimize for the skin of their body. And one of the interesting things that we have seen with the body as well is that a lot of people, they have, they get this fragile skin. And if people have conditions like diabetes, they can have some wounds that won't heal.
Right.
And by using the body lotion, we even got recently a review that the people were able to close that wound, not applying on the open wound. We never suggest that, but if you apply it around, you are basically decreasing that inflammation and the skin is recovering that ability to heal. So we have seen a lot of people reporting that kind of benefit, which for us it's really exciting to see.
Carolina, are you continuing your underlying R&D to find other molecules that perform even better? Do you have and are you using AI in that search to look for that? Give me an understanding of where OneSkin as a company is going.
Yeah, absolutely. We continue to test new molecules. Right now, we believe that peptides are the main molecule that we can deliver to consumers in the near term. There are other technologies as, cell reprogramming, which still has a lot of challenge in terms of translation to consumers. So we continue to focus on peptides.
And when you talk about cellular reprogramming, you're talking about kind of the work that David Sinclair has done on epigenetic reprogramming, on reversing the epigenome of those cells to a younger state.
Yeah, some people can do with CRISPR as well. You can use it with like viral vectors and mRNAs. There are a few, companies working on that. The translation to consumers, mainly as a skincare products, is still challenging. So we are mainly focused on peptides and other molecules that can be delivered in the skin, but always looking how we can optimize, again, the reduction of senescent cells, how we can reduce more the biological age of the skin, because with OS1 peptide, we showed that we could decrease the biological age in 2.5 years in the lab. This was over a course of 5 days, obviously a very controlled experimental condition. We have been testing now in humans the biological age after using the products for 12 years. And we have found that we could reduce 3.3 years after using the product for 12 months. We are repeating the study with a larger cohort, so we hope to see even like a higher decrease in the biological age. But right now, that's what we have. But we want to, obviously develop the next generation of our product, a product that one of the things that we are also looking to is encapsulating the peptide so it can penetrate and can be delivered in a more sustainable way. So there are several technologies that we are using, and we do collaborate with some companies that use AI to generate these molecules. So we do these partnerships, and we use our platform for testing and validating.
Love that. So let's talk about beyond OS1. So for example, in the mornings, I typically do 20 to 30 minutes of red light therapy. What do you think of red light therapy for, and the reasons for red light therapy in theory are reduced inflammation, increased skin health, increased mitochondrial something or other, and I don't know the numbers there, but so do you use red light therapy? Do you recommend it? What do you think of it?
Yeah, no, I think it's a great tool. There are many studies showing that red light therapy will reduce free radicals, will basically increase the ability of the cells to fight those free radicals. So it does improve mitochondrial function, improve the overall cellular function. So and in the end, it reduces inflammation. So this is good for your face. This is good for your overall body. So that's something that I think it's a great pairing with our products. Um, Other things that I think, there are obviously some laser treatments that you can do in office. There is exosomes, there is PRP. I think when it comes with lasers, I'm usually a proponent of the lasers that don't disrupt too much, like the epidermal layer, because you still want to maintain your skin protected, but you can stimulate the deeper layers of your skin that sometimes is harder to do with topical products. So there are some lasers that will cause small injuries on the derms and then will activate the fibroblasts to basically produce more collagen. And obviously, exosomes and PRPs. There are a lot of products out there with exosomes. I'm a little hesitant about
So
them because,
that's where I was going to go next. There are all these skin creams with exosomes in them.
yeah,
And for those who don't know, an exosome is sort of a little contained piece of cellular membrane that includes growth factors and signaling molecules, and they're typically pumped out by stem cells. And so a lot of claims on exosomes. I've tried some skin creams there. I keep coming back to OneSkin. But is there a promise in exosomes? Are you researching that? What do you think about it?
yeah, we did a little bit of research, and as you said, the exosomes are vesicles that any cell can secrete. So obviously, if you get exosome from an old cell, you're gonna get a lot of bad signals. If you get exosomes from stem cells, you can have a lot of those growth factors and signaling molecules. The main challenge are a few ones. So one is reproducibility.
Yeah.
It's really hard to have the same content every time. Because obviously the cells, they vary. Even if you try to keep them at the same condition, they will not secrete the same thing every day. The second one is stability. So usually you needed to keep them frozen, because if you keep them at room temperature, they will start to degrade. Mainly, peptides, small peptides. So that's one of the main challenges. And some companies try to keep it like refrigerated. But again, measuring that stability over time, I would say that's challenging. The third point is, again, the penetration, if those molecules are actually penetrating. So if we're going to use exosomes, ideally you are going to use from frozen vial. You're going to thaw it, and then you are going to use it directly on your skin, ideally doing some micro needling, because you need to facilitate a little bit the penetration. Just applying topically is challenged to deliver all of those growth factors. Growth factors are usually, bigger molecules, bigger proteins, and they tend to be a little harder to penetrate.
Did you see the movie Oppenheimer? If you did you know that besides building the atomic bomb at Los Alamos National Labs, that they spent billions on biodefense weapons, the ability to accurately detect viruses and microbes by reading their RNA? Well, a company called Viome exclusively licensed the technology from Los Alamos Labs to build a platform that can measure your microbiome and the RNA in your blood. Now, Viome has a product that I've personally used for years called Full Body Intelligence, which collects a few drops of your blood, spit, and stool and can tell you so much about your health. They've tested over 700,000 individuals and used their AI models to deliver members critical health guidance, like what foods you should eat, what foods you shouldn't eat, as well as your supplements and probiotics, your biological age, and other deep health insights. And the results of their recommendations are nothing short of stellar. As reported in the American Journal of Lifestyle Medicine, after just 6 months of following Viome's recommendations, members reported the following: a 36% reduction in depression, a 40% reduction in anxiety, a 30% reduction in diabetes, and a 48% reduction in IBS. Listen, I've been using Viome for 3 years. I know that my oral and gut health is one of my highest priorities. Best of all, Viome is affordable, which is part of my mission to democratize health. If you want to join me on this journey, go to Viome.com/Peter. I've asked Naveen Jain, a friend of mine who's the founder and CEO of Viome, to give my listeners a special discount. You'll find it at Viome.com/Peter. I want to talk about collagen in a second because I heard this from, I think it was Bob Huri, and I want to just double check this. So we have 28 collagen genes in the human genome. And some of those are type 1 collagen, that's in skin and tendons and so forth, and type 2, which is cartilage, and type 3 again in skin and blood, and type 4 in other membranes. But one of the things I came to understanding is that one of the things that causes aging is as we grow older, we begin to silence some of the collagen genes. And so our skin is not producing the rich, all of the collagen genes that makes a quote unquote baby's behind, I shouldn't even use that, so soft, right? So, and as we get old and wrinkly, it's because we're not producing the proper amount of collagen molecules. Is that true? Do you understand that to be the case as well?
There is data showing that after the age of 25, 30 years, we lose every year about 1 to 1.5% our ability to replenish the collagen, because collagen usually needs to be kind of recycled, right? You break down and you're constantly building new collagen. And with this aging process, we lose that ability, and it's primarily due to an increase of inflammation and epigenetic change, as you said, that will silence some specific collagen genes.
Do you supplement with collagen at all? Do you take collagen tablets or pills? I mean, should we be doing that as well?
Yeah, there are some studies showing that it can help. It's not very conclusive yet, so it's still a little bit controversial, because when you supplement with collagen, depending on the state of your body will recruit that collagen to whatever it needs most. If it needs more to your tendon, to your cartilage, it's going to go there. But if you're very, good health, it could be well distributed and it could go to your skin. So there is no harm of supplementing with collagen, and there is, studies showing that's anti-inflammatory as well, and it can help. So because you're already supplying the building blocks of, the peptides that you need to build more collagen, that can facilitate, that can speed up your own production of collagen. But again, it's not super conclusive. Mm-hmm. It's not bad, so there is no harm of adding collagen to your diet.
Yeah. So I live in LA, in Santa Monica. I'm looking out the window. It's a bright blue sky. I rarely am outside laying in the sun. A few times I may go and lie in the sun for 15, 20 minutes if I'm just want to think about something and it's a beautiful day and I warm my skin and so forth and so on. But I'm just typically walking around, and I'm outside, I don't know, maybe a total of an hour in the day, typically getting to my car or walking to get a cup of coffee or something like that. Maybe it's half an hour. Should I be thinking about a sunscreen all the time, every day, even if I'm not, sunbathing?
So there is a lot of discussion about that. I'm the type of person that would wear sunscreen every day. I work by the window, so I know that I'm gonna get a lot of sunlight. Mm-hmm. OS1 is already protecting, but if you can add an additional layer that, again, it's safe, it's not gonna cause any damage to your skin, I would add that. If you are going outside, any case that you are gonna get sunburn, that's like when you must wear sunscreen.
Yeah.
So sunburn is obviously the main thing that we should avoid. It can, increase the chances of skin cancer. That's when you're really causing redness, inflammation. So it's really clearly that's bad for you. I like, to protect as much as possible. So I will use at least like a face SPF. In our case, we select the mineral one, the zinc oxide, because it tends to be safer to any skin type. Some of the chemicals, they can have some endocrine disruptors. So there's a little bit of, discussion there. But obviously, if you're out there, if you only have one option, and if you're going to get sunburn, I would use a chemical sunscreen as well. But I would say on a daily basis, it's a good habit to add sunscreen. And a lot of people, think about the vitamin D production and how this could impact. If you are staying in the sun for a long period, the sunscreen should not, completely eliminate your ability to produce vitamin D. So you still can get your vitamin D production wearing sunscreen, assuming that you have some skin exposure. Obviously, some people cover themselves so much that in that case, it's a little more challenging. But you can still get from your diet or supplements and so on. So I'm a sunscreen proponent more on the mineral side, at least, when I know that I'll be directly exposed. Even like by the window or driving, we get a lot. On our hands, if you drive a lot, that's one area that we forget, and usually later on, we're going to see that it really causes the damage.
That's an interesting point, right? I mean, I feel my face is pretty good, but adding a little sunscreen to my hands, for sure, that makes sense. So listen, you are a CEO of a very tech-forward skincare company. You're a PhD in this entire area. You have focused your life's attention on it. So I'm sure everyone wants to know, what is your skincare protocol? So talk us through in some detail what Carolina does for skincare from the time you wake up till the time you go to sleep.
Yeah, luckily it's very simple. So in the morning, because my skin is already clean from the night before, I just rinse my face. I usually go to the gym. It's still like, early on, and when I come back, I shower, and then I apply the face moisturizer, apply the body lotion after a shower, apply the eye cream, and honestly, I mostly apply the eye cream at night, but and then I apply the sunscreen. So morning is usually face, body, and the eye cream and the sunscreen. And then at night, I will wash my face with the cleanser, because that's when you need to remove all the impurities, all the pollution, dirt. Really, really important.
And you formulated a cleanser specifically for the product, or is any cleanser?
Yeah, so this cleanser is formulated to first deeply cleanse your skin, help the peptide to penetrate better. So we have data showing that using the cleanser, you more than double the penetration of the peptide. Also doesn't disrupt your skin microbiome, doesn't dry out your skin. So it's a very gentle cleanser. Some people like to double cleanse, like cleanse twice. I don't do that. And then at night, I apply again the face moisturizer and the eye cream. So pretty simple. Takes me less than 5 minutes. Right. But I think other things that helped me to improve my skin was a lot of really be more mindful of the other products that I was using. Mainly like makeup. A lot of times makeup has a lot of bad ingredients, toxic ingredients. So I did reduce a lot of the foundation, and then right now I really look for clean products or products that don't have toxic ingredients, because you can try to nurture your skin, and if you apply other things on top that are not good, in the end you're we're gonna cause some issues there. Other than skincare, which is kind of very simple, I obviously, try to get good sleep, drink a lot of water.
And how important is hydration to good skin?
It's very important. Obviously, a lot of the plumpness of the skin, the supple, comes from the hydration. And the hydration, one is like the hyaluronic acid or the other extracellular matrix that hold water inside, but also your skin barrier. How intact, how strong is your skin barrier to not allow the water loss? So in our clinical studies, one of the main things that we measure is the skin barrier, the ability to retain moisture or to prevent water loss. And we always see improvement with any product that we develop in the skin barrier. So both, intake of water, but also delivering some ingredients that will help your skin to produce more hyaluronic acid and retain water, super important. And you notice that if you sleep bad or if you drink alcohol, your skin will be completely affected by that.
Yep. Carolina, listen, I again love the product. Use it twice a day, and independent of knowing you and being an advisory company, I just, I share it with everybody I see, and am thrilled and excited to see where you go next. I mean, I do believe that old style skin creams and beauty industry is about to get disrupted with new technologies coming out, and excited to follow your journey. Thank you for what you do. Where do people follow you? Where do they learn more about the product?
Thank you, Peter. Always super excited to share, our progress with you. And I think you have seen how much you have grown in the past.
I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing where you've grown. I run into people all the time saying, have you heard of this product, OneSkin? Yes, I've heard about this product. I love it. Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah, so I would recommend people to go to oneskin.co, sign up for our newsletter.
.co.
Yes. We share a lot of content of the data that we generate in the lab, the clinical studies, other longevity tips. Obviously skin health is part of your overall health. So we are very excited about sharing that information with our consumers. Also on Instagram, oneskin.co. And I'm on LinkedIn, Carolina Reyes Oliveira. I think you guys can add there. But yeah, always a pleasure, chatting with you. Your community is amazing. Everywhere that I go and I meet, I heard about you guys from Peter Diamandis. Yeah. It's always so good to see. And in the conference at the A36, I had so many testimonials. Like, I've been using your product for 4 years, and people were so excited. So yeah, I really, really appreciate it.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. It's a joy to talk about and promote products that are scientifically sound and work and add value to people's lives, and that's definitely what OneSkin is. Carolina, proud of you as a friend and a CEO. Thank you for all that you do.
Thank you so much, Peter.